Hello, welcome back. Hook Boxing. That's wrong. There we go. Now we're back. We are back. Obviously, Hook Boxing, Boxing Corner Casuals, boxing this week. 12. Quite a big week. Quite a big week coming up as well. We are now live on TikTok as well because I did that wrong. Bit of a shambles, but we're good. Right. Let's just get straight into it. Actually, no, we'll do. How are you, Paolo? How's life?
I'm very well, Connor, man. I'm very well. You know me, man. Just usual me, man. Usual me. Not a lot's been going on. Been watching the boxing. And then my other interesting sport, football's back this weekend. So I'm happy we see them both.
True.
You know.
It's good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. What have you been saying?
I'm good. Just working. If Liverpool could sign people, that'd be brilliant. But that's it's not related. It's not related.
Unless we get a Sard raid again.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I might talk about it anyway. I'm just upset, generally speaking. But right, let's do the weekly roundup. And I've sorted it out so it goes along the bottom now. So we're not having this problem when we do the clips. I know. It's doing it at work. Right, I'm going to read off a card because I don't remember it all. And the lighting is not really liking it. So, Wardley versus Clark. The rematch is on. It doesn't have a date, but they've agreed to fight. Purse bids are done. That was done today. That's a brilliant fight. We saw the first time it's probably fight of the year still in the UK so far this year. Mm-hmm. And I think it will remain that way. Nick Ball is returning in a homecoming defense of his world title against Ronnie Rios.
That's a big fight.
That'll be a really good event as well. Emain Khalif wins gold. Well done. And she also didn't lose a round the whole time, which is ridiculous. Jake Paul wants to box at the 2028 Olympics. Just for a bit of context, there won't be boxing at the 2028 Olympics so far. So
isn't it funny that it's the one event that he said I want to box at, and they just stopped doing it?
Yeah. Eubank Jr. expects to fight Canelo in May 25. Sure. Eddie Hearn's trying to make Galauya 5 versus Sonny Edwards. That's a great fight.
That is a great fight.
Tim Tszyu is fighting for the IBF World title in October. And that's now after Turki Al-Sheikh has basically said he doesn't want to work with Tim Tszyu.
So he won't be holding Turkey's hand.
He won't be holding Turkey's hand. And Devin Haney is planning his return, which is with Turkey. And Conor Benn is potentially the opponent, but that is far from confirmed or even really a rumor, other than the fact that they've both sort of posted stuff at the same time.
Ain't Haney on like a year sabbatical of holidays and...
Yeah, he's training now. I don't, to be honest with you, I don't really know what's going on with him, but it'd be good to see him back. He is a big name in boxing.
Had a bit of a cry until the zero got put back, though, innit? So
yeah. But Ryan Garcia has been taking the piss as per usual because he will. Hello TikTok, seeing a comment on there saying hello. So hello, and also thank you to Buddy for saying first. We appreciate that.
Can you send me this link for the TikTok before? Is there any way you can send it to me in the private chat just so I can bring it up on the other screen so I can have a look? Nah, if not, don't worry about it.
Well, I'll do. I'll get to the next topic and then I'll try and do it. You can talk about the next one. Right. Vergil Ortiz. Yeah. We're going straight into it because there's not too much rumours-wise to talk about. Vergil Ortiz beats Bohachuk despite 2 knockdowns in a fucking brilliant fight.
But that was a brutal fight. I watched it again this morning before work.
Yeah, that fight was immense. You can talk about that. I'm going to try and sort the TikTok stuff.
Yeah, Vergil. Listen. Bohachuk, what a opponent, by the way. A very, very difficult man to get out of there. Got Vergil Ortiz down twice. Although I would say the first one, controversial a bit. Couldn't work out if he slipped or not. Yeah, but nevertheless, he put Vergil Ortiz on the back ropes a couple of times. I thought that Vergil Ortiz done enough to win. As in between the rounds, he lost 2 rounds, 10-8, definitely. But then in between, it was the little things he was doing, the movements, the flurries of punches. It's just the little details is what got him that win. Great boxing, really old school slugfest fight. If you ain't watched it, go and watch it. Highlights are on YouTube now. The highlights are enough, even if you can't, because DAZN like play them funny games. They don't put the full fight on there. So
no, they never do.
We find it via other sources. So yeah, the fight itself brutal. Yeah, other sources, man. brutal fight. I really enjoyed it. But I do think the correct man won. I saw things about controversial decision and all of this. I got to say one thing, yeah. Connor, you might fall off your chair, but I'll give judges props for that fight because I tell you what, that's a hard. You know what? It's a very difficult fight to judge and score when you look at how up close they were as well.
Yeah.
And shots in between. And even when Vergil Ortiz was trading, he was getting hurt as well. But he just he was able to come back. A lot of great counter punching by Vergil Ortiz that I was very impressed by him. And then, obviously, in the comments, we saw them make the comparisons to Shakur because that is the fight that obviously they're looking to make next. But I will say one thing, if he is, you can have your bit on it in a minute as well. But if Vergil Ortiz does fight Shakur, all I was doing when I was watching that fight, I froze.
Yeah, that's fine.
My whole screen's froze. I might get kicked out. Carry on talking, Connor.
All right. Well, I mean, I agree. The judges did well because even in the rounds where Ortiz was knocked down, he was still probably winning the rounds. So he did deserve to win the fight. It should be close on the cards, and it was, but the right man won. But Ortiz showed that he can get in there and maybe defensively he's not the strongest, but he's definitely that's not very nice, Miss Pasta. Come on, mate.
What's he saying? Because it's frozen.
He said hello, not on the on our YouTube comments. He's just said hi everyone except Boxing Corner Casuals. Just being horrible, man.
Hi everyone.
Anyway,
Miss Pasta.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fine, right? Let's just get rid of this then for a second. We'll do just me. Hello. Yeah, Vergil Ortiz, pretty brilliant, but a couple of things he needs to work on, mainly his defense. TikTok, I'm sorry, this is just going to look weird. You're going to have two of me for a little bit. I'll move this over. Oh, this is awkward now. But yeah, Vergil Ortiz looks really good. He's just defensively needs to sharpen up a bit. We will see how he does. They're looking at potentially other fights at the junior middleweight. Tim Tszю's still a great fight. The two of them will just go at each other. I'm not sure about the Crawford fight. I think we're going to talk about that with Paolo in a bit, or Boxing Corner Casuals in a bit. I'm not so sure, but it's a brilliant fight. I mean, he's always going to be in good fights. That's the good thing with him. I would worry about him getting in there with another big puncher who's a little bit higher level, but not to disrespect Bohachuk, but Bohachuk isn't going to outbox you. He's 23 wins, 22 of them came by knockout, or 24 wins, 23 came by knockout. So he's not going to win by knockout. He's not going to win by decision. He's unlikely to outbox you for 12 rounds. Kind of a perfect opponent for Vergil Ortiz. It looks great on the resume, and it's done really, really well for him, especially for a guy that's how many times has Ortiz gone past one round? I think he's got 13 or 14 first round knockouts, and that's recently as well. Those are some of the harder fights that he's meant to be having. So the fact he's actually had to get up off the canvas and do more is really good. Miss Pasta, that is not nice, and he will see all that, so stop being a dick. Yeah. Vergil Ortiz, solid. If you haven't seen it, what can I show now? Probably can't show anything actually from that because I think that's too much. I think I'd have to show like a couple minutes worth. But we are well and truly, we're back on the road. Nah, don't worry about it.
If it freezes again, I might have to join by my phone. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's all good. Yeah, but I basically wrapped up about Ortiz beating Bohachuk. Not unless you've got something else to say. The only thing I was saying, his defense needs to be worked on.
100%.
Defense, but the greatest defense is offense. So he's sound, but he's still brilliant to watch. And the fact he's got 12 rounds in is needed massively. So massively needed. But we're gonna move on to what's next for Vergil Ortiz. Mr. Terence Crawford. Could Terence Crawford be next? That's what they're looking at. Turkey Al-Sheikh got in the ring after the fight. That's the fight they're saying. That's the fight they're saying that they want to do.
Turkey. It's Terence Crawford is a special fighter, man. He will. I just think he can fight anyone, man. You know, apart from Canelo. Apart from Canelo, but he can fight anyone, man. I want to see the Boots and Crawford fight. That's what I want to see. So,
yeah. I'm just going to take this comment down because it's weird on TikTok, but yeah. No, I agree. I think he could fight anyone. I
thought they were making Ortiz and Shakur. No? Shakur moved up?
No, what it looks like they want to do is Shakur Zepeda would be the first Turkey Al-Sheikh fight. And that would be the co-main event of probably Crawford. And then because now Ortiz is the WBC interim, it will be kind of like oh, pardon me, I could sense that coming. It'll be kind of like the winner of that, because Errol Spence is still likely to fight Sebastian Fundora for the WBC title. That looks like that is going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I imagine that's what they'll look to do is Ortiz Crawford. That's a brilliant fight. Spence Fundora, and then the ideal would be Crawford wins, Errol Spence wins, and then they've got a unification of Spence Crawford at a higher weight in the rematch. And that's the one that will sell. I don't think it will go quite as easily as that. Fundora is brilliant. But if Spence at 154 isn't struggling with weight,
Fundora is good, but you know what happened was, I think, more of a shock to everyone, just because. Spence, don't get me wrong, lost against Terence, but he's still a formidable opponent. Just how much he's got left, there's a lot of wear and tear there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how much more Spence has got in the tank. The Spence that fought Kell Brook, Fedora doesn't sniff him.
No, a comfortable Errol Spence. If Errol Spence comes in at a weight that he's all right with, then that's that. But the size of Fundora will always come into it. And although the Tim Tszyu, the cut, was a bit of a freak, when you've got someone that tall and like bony, could happen again. Wouldn't be surprising. So, yeah. But Ortiz Crawford, what would you make of that fight? Who would you have winning that fight? Because
Crawford,
you'd have Crawford,
respectively. Like, great fight, obviously he had, but I think Terence Crawford picks him apart. I just think he's too good, man. He's too good. But that's not to take anything away from Ortiz, because Terence Crawford is a free weight champion. We're forgetting.
Four now.
Four weight champion, and he is quite arguably, pound for pound list changes all the time, but he's quite arguably the number top 3, I would say, top 3 pound for pound.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, so Crawford's a special fighter, man. Like, I don't think losing against Crawford is to make a laugh and a joke of, because Crawford's a generational talent. So I just think Crawford would be too good for him. But he really wants to force these fights. I'd be interested to see how far he moves up in weight. He was going to fight Canelo moving up. So if he wins titles here, does a fight appeal to him where he moves up, does what Canelo's done?
Ooh, we've had an interesting comment. We'll come back to that in just a second, Sikandar. Nice to have you back as well, by the way. Good to have the fans in. No, maybe. But no, I think Crawford would win. The only thing I'd say is that Ortiz hits harder than Madrimov. And as good as Crawford's chin is, I think Ortiz is finishing ability. Crawford has to be. It's a horrible fight for Crawford, but I think he'd still win it, and he might even finish Ortiz. And I love Ortiz, but he might actually catch him on the counter. So maybe, but that's a good fight. And whilst that lasts, Ortiz will do the only thing he knows how to, which is absolutely just go for him. And Crawford will probably retaliate with some technically fucking brilliant boxing. So that's a fight I want to see. And it makes sense as well. I don't want to see Crawford going up just yet. Yeah, let's do this. I'll take this banner down. We don't need that rolling on the bottom. Sikander Mohammed's just commented that, which first of all, thank you, mate. Appreciated. And then also top 5 English prospects right now.
Let's do
TikTok,
one together.
You can't see this. You can't see this together. TikTok, but oh well.
Let's
top
do one together.
Prospects.
Let's do one together.
Yeah.
So I think Moses Atuma's got to go in there.
Yeah, he was going to be my number 1.
Yeah.
He was going to be my number 1.
I think the heavyweights.
What are we counting as a prospect? Like,
well, Moses Atuma's a prospect.
He's a prospect, but Dennis McCann, is that a prospect still, or are we saying
Dennis McCann is a prospect?
Because I put him right up there.
I put him up there as well. He was in a tough fight. The rematch was a tough rematch.
Yeah, Unbelievable.
I think it'll make him a better fighter for it.
Janai Bostan's a good shout. Does Bostan get in there just yet? Janai Bostan. Ooh. He will be. I can see it, but I don't know. Top 5, I don't know, because I've actually got Giorgio Viscioli, the Matchroom fighter. From what I've seen of him, he looks lethal. I'd put him up there, but I'm trying to think. Moses.
Are we doing a mixed list?
Boston's actually my cousin. Is he? Mental. Yeah, he's sick, but I don't know. We'll see. We can do a mixed list.
Yeah,
we can.
So we got. So we're gonna go with Moses Atuma, Dennis McCann.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of people now. Johnny Fisher could go up there, by the way.
Johnny Fisher's a Southern Area champion at the moment. He definitely could be there.
He's elite. He's very, very elite. I mean, this is the thing, what you count as a prospect. Bostan could go in there as well, you know. Cameron Vaughn, he's a shout. He's very good. Matchroom have got a lot. Just depends what you count as a prospect, doesn't it? Because
if I'm throwing in a prospect, a young prospect, and we're doing a mixed list, I think it's difficult because I think heavyweights take hold of the can take a lot of the list on. But I don't think you can count like Adelaide and any of them guys as prospects. I think they're past that.
No, they've had their big fights. Yeah.
But do you know what? I've got to put a bias in there, Connor. Francesca Hennessy. She's got to go in for me. That's one of my prospects. But I've always said it. I'm a big fan of her. I wouldn't say Adam Azim's a prospect now, per se.
He's European champ. He's a little bit past that, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's going to be knocking for a world title.
Yeah, do you know what it is? It's so hard to do a top 5 because I think it doesn't do the justice for a lot of boxers that are prospects there. But
boxer, I've got quite a few. You could put Vidal Riley could go in there quite easy.
Vidal Riley could definitely go in there.
He's top and all.
Callum Simpson, but he's British champ now. He was a prospect.
But then,
Ben Whittaker.
He'll go in there.
He's a prospect.
I'll put him in there.
He's a prospect.
Yeah, he's still a prospect. Right, he's still a prospect. So Moses Atama, I think, is number 1 undisputed prospect because I think he's he's next level. Hamza Udin is class. He is very good. I don't know if he'd be in my top 5. But then, to be honest, I don't have a top. Moses, number 1. Dennis McCann, I think, is brilliant. I'd have him number 2. I'd put Johnny Fisher number 3, honestly. He's getting much better. And he spars everyone. He's doing brilliant.
Covers the world for sparring.
Yeah. And then we've just got Vidal Riley, Cameron Vaughn, Ben Whittaker. It's a hard question. But I think the takeaway is that Moses Atama was fucking brilliant. He actually is. I'm such a fan. He's so good. He's so good. The way he moved as a heavyweight is ridiculous. Yeah, love watching him. But I think we'll leave that there because I'm quite excited to try something out. Whether or not it will work, we'll see. But
if we've done a mixed list though, Francesca's in there, man. Big up to her.
That's not meant to be on there just yet. That was a mistake.
Connor's on it.
Right.
Connor's.
Vidal Riley's like 30. No, I agree. The age 31.
Yeah, but I think the level he's at, he's an English.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you define prospect by age. Like, for example, Joshua was 28 when he turned professional.
Vidal Riley's 27, by the way. Like, we're not 31's that's a bit of a jump. But
Joshua was 28 when he turned professional. He was a prospect.
Yeah. It's not. It's experience. It's professional experience. It's not.
Yeah,
you could be 34 years old and be a prospect, but
Fraser Clark was a prospect.
Yeah,
that was a prospect.
Yeah,
you could have said before the Fabio Wardley fight.
Yeah, I know. I would agree. Oh shit, that's all good. It's all good. To be fair, he's been around for a while now because of the YouTube stuff. Right.
Let's move. What it is? Yeah. No, sorry, I was saying you look at it like that. Vidal Riley, you think he's older, 1,000,000%.
We're going to move to this. I didn't think we were going to talk about this fight much because I kind of wrote it off on last week. Yeah, brutal. We're going to show it. Angelo Leo with a knockout of the year upset because Bernardo Lopez was expected to win that. I even brushed it off last week, so my bad, because I thought that's just a defense of a title. That's not anything special. Fucking hell, it was special. We are going to show it. TikTok can't show it to you lot because it'll just get me banned and all that shit. Oh, fucking massive on TikTok. That's weird. Right, let's do that. Add that. Right, here we go. This is Angelo Leo against Bernardo Lopez, round 10, knockout of the year contender. Slumps him. Yeah, some knockout. By the way, why is the ref even bothering? Like, he stood over a guy that's.
Hey, that looks. Listen. Wait. Pause for a minute, yeah. That ref looks like he wants to go down to help him.
Yeah.
But his back's not in the best way.
No.
So he's kind of like halfway there, but he's like, "That, come on." Don't know why I done it like that. Just assuming, just profiling Americans. That, come on. That's a terrible American accent. But he's just,
come on, man.
He doesn't know where he is. And
no. But why is he
counting right now, he's thinking about a lot, but it's not what's going on in the ring. They're the kind of knockouts that make people go, ah. You know what I mean?
Even for me, you can tell the guy's a little older, but we're going to watch that again because it deserves it.
Watch it again.
Oh my God. Just drops him. Just
frozen a bit there, isn't it? But yeah, first time played it a lot better.
And then there's the ref with the bad back. But that's just brutal. I won't show it too many times. I don't know if there's a rule about that kind of stupid shit. But yeah, basically, what a knockout. And then we are not banned on TikTok and we're back. Yeah, that knockout's insane. And also that fight's brilliant as well. We didn't get banned, but they just don't like violence. It's like you have to disclose that professionals are doing it.
That's because TikTok's it's a woke platform, isn't it? That's why.
Yeah. Hold on, we've got a comment on TikTok that we can actually. What's your favorite boxing move or punch? I love an uppercut or a counter punch, just a straight right counter. I love that. If it's timed well.
Just an uppercut for me, man. Listen, I can go on YouTube, and watch Javante Davis uppercut compilations before I start work.
Oh my God! Yeah, on Leo Santa Cruz, the one in the corner where he just flatlines him. He's not the same man after. That is, yeah. But that's probably knockout of the year because it was a massive upset. Shouldn't have happened. And oh my God, is it good? Tempted to watch it again, but it's
do you know when you watch? Do you know what you talk about punches for a minute? Yeah. Do you not like watching the ones where they hit a peach of a shot on the ribs.
I do.
Oh, you're there, and
Oh.
they're down and out.
Yeah. No, I like watching. I like,
and you hear it, and you know when you hear it as well, and you're watching it on telly, you can hear it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. During COVID, that was my favorite thing. That was my favorite shot. Is the body shots, because when you hear how hard that is, like you say, when you hear that, it's mental. It's absolutely mental. But yeah, that's knockout of the year for me so far, and I don't think that will get beaten. But maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. Right. A bit of an odd one. There's quite a few little topics we can go off on this. First of all, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is returning. Not a whole lot to be said about that, if I'm honest. He's fighting brilliant. He's fighting Arturo Gatti for the third time or something like that. This is terrible lighting now. Oh well. Yeah, he's fighting Arturo Gatti in an exhibition fight. That's the first thing I want to talk about. What do you make of these exhibition fights like that?
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm biased when it comes to Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, because do you know what it is? Do you know what? There's not many fighters in his position doing basically that who had the background and category and catalogue of fights that he had. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think to be able to, carry on after you retire, not really get hit, because bearing in mind, he had not really get hit. 2 seconds. Hang on.
Yeah. I believe what he's going to say is his belly get hit and maybe about his hand being broken and all this kind of stuff. He's a ridiculously good fighter. But should he still be fighting? I know we've got two people watching. I don't know if Sikander's still here. If you're still here, Sikander, give over your opinion, mate. That would be appreciated.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all good.
Yeah. Floyd Mayweather. You can hear me, Connor, yeah?
Yeah. Real good.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather. He 47, I think he is now. 48.
Yeah. Something along those. Yeah.
He's got kids. He's got grandkids. And he still turns up and he still earns millions and millions to fight.
Yeah.
And he beats people convincingly whilst talking to the judges. Bearing in mind, he used to do that stuff when he was a professional fighter. Listen, he's not doing any harm. He's not adding to his pro record. As far as I'm concerned, I don't really have a problem with it because they're exhibition fights. It literally says what it says on the tin. So people are still watching him because they want to see him lose, even when he's retired.
Yeah.
I think that he, that's for me, and people will agree or disagree. He beat the most world champions across different weights. That is, whether people like it or not, one of, if not the greatest fighter of all time.
Well, that was going to be the next question. Is he the greatest fighter of all time? Is he number one? Because for me, he's not. But he's up there.
But you know what it is as well, yeah? Because I know what's going to happen from this year. We're going to see reels about Floyd Mayweather or comments. If you clip any of this next week, which is I'm doing next week, which I will guarantee you there'll be comments saying he didn't fight people in his prime, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. He is 2 years older than Manny Pacquiao. Can I just put that one out there? Yeah. So he fought Manny Pacquiao. The only reason that fight didn't happen when it was discussed was because he wouldn't take a PEDs test. And we all know 10, 15 years ago, Manny Pacquiao failed some tests. When he come back after that controversy, he started getting knocked out a lot more. So I do question. I think Manny Pacquiao is a great fighter, but I do question how much them performance enhancement drugs helped him. Something's doing funny on the TikTok. Oh, we're back. It's fine. So I do question. Obviously, we look at when he fought Canelo. I think before I come on this live, I was watching a little segment that Oscar De La Hoya done, and he was talking about Floyd. And Oscar said that the only reason that the rematch never got made by Floyd was contractually Floyd retired for 1 year and a day and then come back. Probably for money reasons, though. Floyd was a businessman throughout his career. I think he gets a lot of hate off people, but he's the smartest man to box in terms of business acumen. And a lot of people say he's not smart, but he's smart enough to have a good team around him. But the fights that he's been in, come on, man. Like, how many world champions has he beaten? How many has he got to beat for people to say he didn't fight this person in his prime, he didn't fight that person in his prime? Casuals will say that he ran around the ring, which I think makes me sick when people say that. Because
that's just bullshit.
He defensively had the best defense that was clearly unbreakable. Don't get me wrong, he was in some close fights, but I feel like that work he used to do on the inside and all the counter punching is what won him fights.
He also the running around the ring thing is bullshit, because if you think that's what he was wanting to do, that's fine. That's not what Floyd Mayweather wanted to do. Well, not everyone. You should know about Floyd's hand. He just kept breaking his hand. So up till fight number 25, his knockout record, it's not like he was stupidly powerful. We're not talking like that, but we're talking about a guy that was finishing his opponents. He was knocking people out, and then his hands, bones in his hands, kept breaking. He could not use that power punch to the same extent. So when people say he was running around the ring, one, he wasn't. He was just outboxing people. But also, he wanted to go in there and take people's heads off. There's nothing, sort of, don't make a mistake about that. He just couldn't because of a bone problem, or, well, not bone problem, but like hand problems, and still went and did it, which to be honest with you, he is my number one. The only reason I sort of don't agree is that Sugar Ray Leonard is there, and he's the one that anybody who ever saw him fight just says he was this different level to everybody else. And I've seen clips and I can clearly see it, but I'm like, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson. Leonard was brilliant, but Sugar Ray Robinson's the one I'm on about.
I'm just saying to you, did he do plus more what Floyd done?
No, but should there be something said for a guy that fights 130 times in his career?
But then, should there be something said about a guy that fights 50 times in his career and manages to beat the most world champions? Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you mean. But
you know what? I'm gonna discredit one fight of Floyd's. That's the Conor McGregor fight. 49.
Yeah, 49. No. But now, listen, Floyd ridiculously good, right? But we're talking about a guy who fought 190 or 201 times. How did he fight 201 times? But he's got 190. Oh, he's got no contests.
I agree. It's a clown show, but because can I bring this comment up?
Yeah, go for it. We can do it. TikTok.
I agree with what you're saying, Popular Learner. Thank you for tuning in.
Popular Learner, good name.
I like the name, man. Thank you for tuning in. Some catchy names on YouTube, man. It works.
Yeah, I know.
But I will say one thing about Floyd. He's completed boxing 10 times over and achieved more than, most would have financially and benefited from boxing. I feel like now he fights exhibition fights, does what it says on the tin, and doesn't advertise it as anything else. That's why I can't hate it. If you compare it to somebody like Jake Paul, who's having boxing matches at a pro level, he's now going to go fight Mike Tyson.
Yeah. That's
a joke, because that's going on Mike Tyson's professional record. But this is an exhibition fight. Don't get me wrong, it's not a fight that massive amounts of people will be interested in, but it's enough because it generates Floyd millions and millions, and we know he don't fight for free. I remember when he fought the YouTuber Deji. That was the most random one. Charged Deji £6 million to take the phone call.
Yeah.
Before they had a fight. So yeah, look, I don't expect nothing from this Floyd fight. It's just an exhibition match. But when we are talking about his resume over the years, like when we talk about his professional boxing, for me, what he's achieved in the time that he's done it, discredit the Conor McGregor fight, because I never think that fight should have gone in his pro record, 49-0.
Yeah.
He's achieved more than most, arguably, in boxing, and come out of it pretty unscathed, I would say.
Yeah, there's something to be said
hand,
for that.
Bar the hand.
There's something to be said for that, though.
Yeah.
The guy's a granddad. He seems to have his head all in one place. He doesn't seem to have any real issues. I'm sure he might do when he's older, but that's part of it, sadly.
Yeah. Thank you for the comments as well, Popular Loner. I really appreciate it. We always appreciate it. And
Floyd is the greatest of all time, in my opinion. That's what we were discussing. I mean, I don't know how long you've been a Popular Loner, but Floyd being the greatest of all time, he can do what he wants. Agreed.
This is what I love. Facts.
But if we just go to the Mike Tyson fight, Mike Tyson's one of the greatest ever. One of the greatest heavyweights ever. Where's the line going to draw? Where are you
putting Mike? Can I ask you a question? Where are you putting Mike Tyson on your list? Just out of curiosity.
Heavyweights of all time or fighters of all time? Fighters of all time, it's not that high.
Because I don't think he touches Lennox in his prime.
No. Lennox Lewis is the greatest heavyweight of all time. I think easily. I don't know anyone that
greatest heavyweight, but then you could argue, yeah.
The GOAT is Muhammad Ali because nobody can do what Muhammad Ali's done.
I think Lennox Lewis beats Muhammad Ali.
No, I agree. That's why. So Muhammad Ali is the greatest, as in nobody can promote the sport like Muhammad Ali.
Oh,
top 30 is crazy, by the way. Mike Tyson's better than top. Come on now, we're top 30. He's up there. Mike Tyson is up there. We're not doing top 30. Mike Tyson's a top fighter. He's just nut job as well.
Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to ask Savage Dan to come on one of these lives one night.
Yeah.
Who works for Boxer and media head relations, and he works on Filthy Fellas. And I'm going to get him to tell you where he puts Mike Tyson because you'll be shocked.
No.
He had Mike Tyson. He had Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Maybe like 10th in his list. Do you know what? Let me.
You find that. Good evening to Dean, and I don't know if A's still here, but hello, A. Dean, where do you put Mike Tyson all-time heavyweights?
I'm going to send a voice note to Dan and see if I can get a response for the stream.
Lennox Lewis does not beat the Ali that before he got banned for 3 years. Top 5. Dean. So Dean from TikTok, he's got Mike Tyson top 5. Lennox Lewis does not beat. Sorry, Dean, you can't see this, but I'll read it out to you. Well, read it out to everyone. Lennox Lewis does not beat the Ali that before he got banned for 3 years. I think, don't get me wrong, Muhammad Ali is he is up there, but Ali lost to people. Ali's thing that can never be taken from him it is what he did for the sport, and he turned boxing into this fucking machine. Go watch Ali versus Cleveland Williams. Honestly, I've watched enough of Ali. I know Ali is ridiculously good, not taken away from him. Lennox Lewis just finds a way unless you land on him, and I even then.
Can we also add in that Lennox Lewis's longevity was more? Would you say in terms of at the top level?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Obviously,
Ali was around for long. It depends what.
Do you know what it is though? Do you know why I don't compare? I'll tell you what, and I agree with what he's saying here. Because Ali got banned for 3 years. Did he escape or just escape prison? I can't remember. It was to do with a war, wasn't it?
Nowhere in hell Lewis beats the Ali. You're underrating Lennox Lewis here because I'm not disrespecting the GOAT, but I promise you, a prime Lennox Lewis versus a prime Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis wins that fight. So annoying that we can't just have these fights. By the way, Muhammad Ali, it's not an easy fight. A Popular Loner, by the way, if you want to come in, you don't have to show your face. You can just join and have the chat with us. It's kind of like Discord. I don't know if I assume you know what that is. Kind of everyone knows what Discord is, but we agree to disagree. I agree to disagree. I think you're wrong. I'm not agree. There's no. I think Lennox Lewis would win that, and I think it would not easy. It'd be one of his hardest. Well, it would be his hardest fight. But Mike Tyson top 30. We'll go back to that. That's just wrong. But yeah, Floyd Mayweather, he's way above top 30. Come on. Top 15 you could put, but Floyd Mayweather doing his exhibition compared to Jake Paul doing the pro fights. I get what you were saying about the popularity because Before the Bell podcast. Oh, nice. I've heard of you guys. Why have I heard of you? You're quite like a decent size, but it's nice to have you anyway. What I was going to say,
follow them, man. Follow them.
Yeah, go for it, of course. But yeah, where are we drawing the line? Because Floyd Mayweather's not young. The guys he's fighting, like Deji, is young.
No. We can't even compare. Listen, the Deji fight was an anomaly. We can't talk about that. I can't talk about any of the exhibitions Floyd in and defend them as any credible fights. I'm going to agree with Popular Loner there. But he definitely can do what he wants, which is what Popular Loner always said. However, this Gotti fight is only interesting because, not for the boxing, but just because of the beef they got. That's the only reason. I like a bit of toxicity. And that fight's full of toxicity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. True.
Other than that, though, you know what the outcome's going to be. Floyd Mayweather bobs his head round every day of the week, even at 47. So we know who's going to win. Do you know what I mean? I don't think Floyd Mayweather steps into an exhibition if he thinks he's going to lose, personally.
No. Well, I don't think he'd ever think he's going to lose, but you are. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. You are right. It'll be interesting. I mean, the Jake Paul one we can talk about for a second, I guess. Mike Tyson's going to be the fourth oldest professional fighter ever. Fourth oldest, and that's, I was really being sort of a devil's advocate bringing that up, but I think it is somewhat relevant. Well, let's move on. I think we've spoke about exhibitions. What we'll do. I'm bringing this up now. I was going to put this in the weekly roundup, but on the undercard makes it so, and this works actually. We were talking about prospects earlier. Mbilli versus Dervyanchenko smashed it. Eat your mum out. What? That's weird. Anyway, Mbilli versus Dervyanchenko. That is a brilliant fight. Mbilli is brilliant. He's number 3 on box records at super middleweight. He's proper. Like, he's the one that I want Canelo to fight. That's the fight I actually care about. That or Benavidez, because that makes sense, but that's not going to happen. And Mbilli sells out arenas as well. So
I'm not quite sure about the opponent, to be honest, because I don't know what I think it looks like a bit of a mismatch.
I've seen enough of Dervyanchenko to tell you it's not a miss. It's not close. It shouldn't be close. And Billy should handle it.
Yeah.
But it should be also competitive for the, I would say, 5 rounds it lasts. I've not seen, I can't say I'm an expert on Dervyanchenko, but I've seen enough to say that he should put in a good performance. But Mbilli should look good. He should come out of it looking good. We've also got Makhmudov on the undercard, who's kind of he's still building himself up after getting pretty badly beaten by Ajit Kabayel. And we've got the best prospect in the world, Abdullah Mason.
Makhmudov, we interacted on Instagram, man. That's a giant.
Did you?
In boxing. Yeah, it was really random. I think I put a video up where I butchered his name, basically. And yeah, he liked it. I think he found it quite funny, actually. I wasn't being disrespectful. It's a long name.
No. Yeah.
Makhmudov. I pronounce him like I pronounce the UFC fighters. Khabib, Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them.
but
yeah, he interacting, man. He's cool. He seems like a cool guy. Still trying to get an interview with him.
He does seem nice as well. But he's still building himself up. He's the co-main for this. I can't remember who he's fighting, but I think it is still a fight. It is a fight he should win. And in fairness, the Ajit Kabayel one, he broke his finger and stuff. So even that, although Kabayel was brilliant, that was a pretty shit situation for him. He's still a top heavyweight. He's a little slow. That's the only thing I would say.
Kabayel, I don't know what to make. Like, he's been really good the last couple of fights. I just don't know where his level is in terms of where he can go. He's obviously got big shots now. Massive shout out to him because he's got himself back onto the Saudi cards, which is massive as well for him financially. The biggest thing about this, and I will say this now, is appreciating that the fighters get paid for doing what they're doing, and that's what Turkey's doing.
Yeah.
Paying the fighters well that they wouldn't maybe be given opportunities in England or America. But Caballo obviously come off an upset. He weren't supposed to beat Magomedov.
Yeah.
In my opinion, from what I'd seen of Magomedov, I thought he was going to win. But Caballo really, it's obviously
he stamped his name.
It circulated afterwards, though, that Magomedov had a lot of surgery because he was out for about 10 months. He's just obviously come back to train now.
Yeah.
But it's a strange one because he's a big heavyweight, Magomedov. But he takes a lot of damage, and I think at heavyweight that is where. And Caballo is a lot the smaller man, but because he's quite quick, from my opinion, compared to Magomedov when he fought.
No, he is.
Yeah, it was just one of them fights. I was shocked, but I respect that he won because he deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, Caballo then went on, knocked out Frank Sanchez, which is another undefeated heavyweight that he probably wasn't favourite in, and he's done the job there again. So he can't knock him. He's doing brilliant for himself. And really, if he was a bigger name, if he had a bit of a better promotion behind him, he should be looking at a world title. Really, you beat Magomedov, who was a massive name, and everyone was saying he was like the boogeyman and all this shit. And then you beat Frank Sanchez, who's been WBC interim, or at least in the WB, like high up on the rankings for years.
Frank Sanchez is a good heavyweight as well, you know.
Yeah, he's really good, and yet Caballo made him look sloppy. So yeah, Caballo's 25-0. He's there.
Can I add something though as well?
Yeah.
We definitely, with all these heavyweights circulating, I know we've gone a bit off subject, so we'll get back to this quick. Because we've got a guest that's joining in 2 minutes, so maybe let me speed this up quick by saying,
yeah,
a lot of people talk about the heavyweight division, but I will say one thing: Michael Hunter's name ain't been mentioned much, but this is the guy that beat Bacoli.
Yeah, he should have his name out there a bit more. The way he beat Bacoli wasn't, but Bacoli fucked up his arm or his shoulder. He still got the win. I'm not going to take it away from him. Michael Hunter's really good. I'd like to see them just do a rematch because Bacoli realistically.
Bacoli's fighting Zhang by the looks of it. He wants Zhang.
Yeah, I don't mind that, but
I mean, it's a risky fight for him, though. I think Zhang is offers him a lot of problems.
Yeah, because they've got both slow. They'll just slug it out for about 3 or 4 rounds until one drops.
He's a bigger fighter.
Yeah, true. That's a really good fight. We won't talk. We could keep talking about that for ages, so we'll drop that there. The only other thing I'd say about Mbilli Dervyanchenko is Abdullah Mason returns after just 6 weeks since his last fight. That's how you do it as a prospect. Him and Moses Attal are kind of showing others the activity you need.
I like it. It's the hungriness, but obviously as well, I don't think you can take away from the fact that it's easy to do it when you're a prospect, but obviously as you move up the rankings, there's a lot more to it than just coming back after 6-7 weeks. Because I think if you're fighting for titles, there's a waiting game. There's, camps, fighters are divas. They want a longer camp. It's very different to when you're a prospect. And I think the politics involved in boxing is something that will never change. And that's the reason why we see a delay in fights.
Yeah, true. It'll be interesting to see. I like the fact that these prospects are getting loads of fights in. And by the time they get to the point, like Atalma's getting there now, he now can slow down because his next fight could be Joe Joyce. And then after that, it could be for the British. And after that, he's now reaching distance, just win. He'll be up there. Abdullah Mason's not quite there because his division's probably a lot more packed. But he's doing it right. I like that. Get the experience in. By the time you're fighting, these top guys, you've got sort of 10, 15 fights on them instead of getting to sort of 10-0 and then going, all right, now I'm going to fight for an interim title. It's like, unless you're like Lomachenko with the amateur experience, it's not a smart way to do it. Just have a look at TikTok. I don't think we've had any. I don't know if I said it. Dean put Mike Tyson top 5. I don't know if I said that I don't know if Dean's still there, but if he is, sorry, mate, forgot. My bad. 20 past. We'll move on now because it should be around now that we get Denzel Bentley returns this weekend. Good show, another good show from Queensbury, which is nice. We've done another UK show. I like the fact they're still mixing it up in the UK. Obviously, we had in the weekly roundup Nick Ball's return in Liverpool, so he's doing a homecoming, and we got Denzel Bentley fighting for a WBO Intercontinental title. I want to say one of those ones. It's sort of it's still respectable.
I think. Do you know why I like Ben? Do you know why I like Denzel Bentley? Is he's been in with some really, really tough operators where he's lost as well. Like Felix Cash fight isn't an easy fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's that's a difficult fight. He's a very experienced boxer. That he's been in them hard fights. Nathan Heaney.
Yeah.
I like Denzel Bentley and I want him to do well. And I think he's just got to keep going where he's going, keep doing what he's doing. Do you know what it is with him as well, with Denzel Bentley as well? It's the application that you see, obviously, with the training and everything he's done and where he's come from as well. And just his whole story is just adds to it. It's like a little Rocky story, just for obviously what he's, gone through and stuff like that. So I got a massive respect for him. I think I like him. He's a good boxer.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. What we'll do is we'll move over because we've got a guest joining.
Connor's excited. He can use his free.
I am. I know. I've been waiting for this for fucking ages. So we'll do that. Add you in, and then we'll go. Which way was it? This way. There we go. Oh, look at that. It works.
What's going on, guys?
How are you?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm popular loner, by the way.
Oh yeah, I see that now. I see you here the whole time. So you've held the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I've since you started talking about Floyd Mayweather returned. Yeah, I've been listening.
Wicked, man. Thank you. So I didn't realize it was you, bro. My bad.
Yeah. It's calm, bro. It's calm, man. That was my like my throwaway account that I used to just search YouTube. Because my channel doesn't have a YouTube. I'm on Rumble, innit? I do all my podcasts on Rumble. I don't do anything on YouTube. So
okay, fair enough, guys. This is Before the Bell Podcast, as he was in the comments. Popular loner, does a lot of interviews. I've seen you obviously at the O2 Indigo not that long ago, and obviously you go and do interviews. He's got his own podcast as well, which obviously we can link as well at the end of this, Connor, when we do the
of
live.
course, we'll put it at the bottom.
And yeah, man, like, just get your thoughts on this. Obviously, Denzel Bentley back in action. What are your thoughts on his fight coming up? He's been in some tough tests. A lot, like he's had some. I think he's learned a lot from the losses he's got. Been in with some good boxers as well. Where do you see him going?
What, like after this fight, or in terms of the fight?
Well, get this fight he's got coming up in terms of how tough it's going to be for him.
Yeah.
And if he wins, where do you see him going?
I think in the next 2 or 3 fights, if he puts in good performances, he could get another world title shot. I do believe. I think he could put in a good performance against Janabek. He put in a very good performance against Janabek. Obviously, he didn't win, but he put in a very good performance against Janabek. This fight is way more close than people realize because they're almost identical in styles, apart from a few things. But they both got the speed. They're both fast. They both got fast hands. Osaze's got very fast hands. We all know Bentley's got fast hands. I'll maybe give Bentley like the slight power advantage, because he put more pop in his shots. But they can do everything. Like, they literally can do everything. They both got good accuracy, both got good timing, both got good head movement, both can fight in different looks. The one thing I would say, Denzel Bentley has a way better jab. So Osaze has only got a good offensive jab, right? But Bentley's got a good offensive and defensive jab. And Bentley's got more experience. So I'm leaning towards Bentley. I think the experience and maybe slightly technical. He's got a better jab, and the most important punch in boxing is the jab, right? So, I'm leaning towards Bentley, and the experience, the level of competition Bentley's fought is way higher than Osaze.
Do you know what? Yeah, I agree with you. The only thing I would say is interesting. Yeah, is the experience doesn't always. Obviously, it makes a difference, but depending on where the opponent's at that you're fighting at the time, I think, can make a difference. Because if we go back to obviously Willie Hutchinson and Craig Richards on paper, Craig Richards should have done a lot better than he did against Willie Hutchinson on paper. But Willie Hutchinson, for me, was obviously the better boxer on the night, and he won. But then obviously it's a question of that's different. Craig Richards is 34, 35. This is a bit different. So, yeah, the experience definitely plays a part. But, yeah, I just think Denzel Bentley is probably on a collision course for a world title shot very soon, like you said. I like him as a boxer. I just think he just impresses me. You know, when you watch certain fighters and you just appreciate the little things that they do as well. Denzel Bentley for me is a top operator, and I can make a prediction. I could see him coming out with a win, but I think it's going to be points.
Yeah, I think definitely points because Osaze is good. He's a good fighter, man. Obviously, he ain't fought the same level of Bentley, but like you said already, I'm talking about experience. But you know, if you're good, you're good enough, right? Sometimes experience doesn't always mean. So I don't see Bentley knocking him out. I think Osaze's too good to get knocked out. I could be wrong, but I think he's too good to get knocked out.
My only worry for Bentley on this is Bentley has a little tendency where not maybe intentionally, but like Nathan Heaney, everyone wrote Nathan Heaney off. That was Bentley's fight. It was a great event and everything. In the first fight, well, the only fight, that was meant to be Bentley winning that. Like, I think it was harsh on Heaney, and Heaney was fucking brilliant. Bentley was not good in that fight, and I think that's because he maybe overlooked him. My one worry for this is the same thing could happen. Osaze is proper. Like, I'm not sure that he will go and push for world titles after. I don't know if he'd get to that level, but Bentley could do that level quite easily, I think. Again, maybe not win, but he'll get there again. But I do think he has a little danger where he might have overlooked the fight again. Like, and I mean that in I love watching Bentley fight. When he's on it, he is probably the best we've got to offer at middleweight. Unless Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. But Eubank Jr. might be at 168. Liam Smith, he's fighting Josh Kelly at 154 now, so I'm not including them. But I think Bentley's the best there is to offer. I mean, technically, I guess Brad Pauls would be above him, but it's a bit of a tough one. I think Bentley will win. It's just it completely depends on if he shows up and he's shown up. You know what I mean? Not just come there.
I think you made a good point there for sure. The reason why I'll say that you're wrong is because I know Bentley personally, and I know that he knows it because Osaze, he's in Nottingham now, I think, but he used to live in Peckham, right?
Okay.
And I know that Bentley knows him. He actually knows Osaze so I know that he knows Osaze ain't coming to play. Like, so I know that Bentley ain't gonna turn up like how he turned up against Heaney.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I know for a fact he's gonna come in well. So yeah. That's the only reason.
If that's the case, I think Bentley will win.
But you did make a good point. Like, you know, if the Bentley that fought Heaney turns up, he's not winning the fight. He's not winning. So yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a good fight. I'm good. I'm excited to, because even if Osaze loses, I think he's gonna show people that he's good, right? And then he's gonna get more, you know, at least more British level opportunities for himself.
Yeah, hopefully he seems like a nice guy from what I've seen of him as well. So
I think he's a pastor now. I think he's a pastor now. You think he lives in Nottingham and he's a pastor, if I'm not mistaken, or he works with the church out there.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's quite interesting, actually. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Really?
He is.
Oh, nice.
It's quite interesting, like day job, and then to obviously go and box, considering what he does in the day, innit? Right, to be honest. Yeah, it is.
George Foreman-esque, yeah.
But that's what I said to you, man. It's going to be a good fight, regardless. It's on a great card as well, so it'd just be interesting. But yeah, I'm leaning towards Denzel Bentley as a final say on it.
Well, you mentioned the card's great. What other fights are on the card?
So we've got. Have you got the list up, Connor?
I'll get it. Let's have a look. I know there's a couple like youngsters on the card. I can't remember who is, but I know there's a couple. It's a York Hall card. It's going to be.
Is Frankham on there? I think Joshua Frankham might be fighting. if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. So we've got Alois Yumbi or Junior, Alois Junior. Everyone calls him. He's fighting. Who's he fighting? Oh, he's fighting. Okay, he's undefeated opponent, so he'll probably win that by knockout. So that's always good. You got Ben Fale. He's fighting. The Fale brothers are always good to watch. Josh Frankham is fighting. Yeah, you're right. Billy Adams 3-0. Ben Fale 6-0. Luke McCormack 1-0. William Hamilton 5-0. You got quite a lot of debuts there as well. So it's a prospect card. It's a prospect card, but it's good.
But I think it's an important card. But it showcases obviously to be for these boxers who haven't had the opportunity to be on cards like this before as well. But York is the home of boxing, and it's an atmosphere like none other. Like I'm sure you guys have been there before. So
man. York Hall's, man. I love York Hall, man. I love York Hall.
Yeah.
York Hall's dope, for sure.
No, man, I appreciate it. But I think we're going to move on. But thank you very much for joining in. We need to do more, so I'll drop you a message anyway.
Yeah, man, for sure, bro.
And we'll sort some stuff out, and then obviously get you
100%. If anything, if you guys want to, right? Obviously, I do interviews. Right now, I'm not doing a lot of interviews, but at one point, I was doing like 3 interviews every week, like different fighters, right? But every Sunday, I do my weekly podcast where I break down like the top 10 boxing and MMA fights, and I tell people what bets they should place. So if you two want to join that at some point, I could always send you guys a link.
Yeah, wicked.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll join. Like we can do that. We can join for a little bit. Yeah,
100.
Yeah, of course. We'll sort that on.
Do you both use the Boxing Casuals account on Instagram, or is it just? Do you both use it?
Me. He's got Hooked Boxing. I'm Boxing Corner Casual.
Yeah.
Okay,
so this is streaming on both right now. This is streaming on
both. Oh, I thought it was only
on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. Because I got it on the side on my other screen, but I got Boxing Corner. I will find you. I'll find you in his friends list section on Instagram, and I'll drop you a message.
Yeah. No, go for it. We'll sort something out. We'll definitely do more. But I think for today, I think that's everything. Anyway, I mean, we'll do a little outro now, so we won't make you sit here during the outro because that'll be real fun.
Before the bell, thank you very much.
All right, man. Peace, guys.
Thank you for joining. Yeah, we'll have you back in future for sure, man.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah. So now we got to do the quick switch. I've not done it quick enough. There we go. Kind of quick. Right. So that was Before the Bell. There'll be a link to him below. Make sure to check him out on Rumble. I've just realised TikTok looks weird. We're back on TikTok. There we go. Smooth as a butter. I don't know. Butter's pretty smooth, isn't it? Right. Yeah. No, this is the end. I think we've covered everything. Trying to think if there's anything else coming up. I don't think there is. Oh, the only thing I was going to mention, but I just didn't put a ban on it. Clarissa Shields has pushed for female fights in Riyadh season, which is good because they do need to do that. And it looks like Turkey Al-Sheikh has said yes. So we'll see something along those lines. Not really much to talk about, but I'm happy about that.
The only thing I will say is where we might see it not happen for certain fighters is dependent. It is a talking point. It's not like a joke to be made of, but how it will work for the fighters that I know there are maybe some female fighters slightly against it, although Savannah Marshalls was over there for PFL event, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting, but there's a lot of divide, I think, in the boxing community for females just because of certain laws over there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But to be honest with you, I don't think it's a massive. Like I genuinely think he'll be welcome as he is of all boxing arms. He knows that these boxing shows bring people from around the world. Obviously, they're respectful of the laws of the land and stuff like that, but they know, like, if you're bringing in big fighters from around the world, you've got to kind of, if you want them fights in Saudi, you have to change all certain things for maybe them weekends, or the fighters just don't come. And that's a mutual agreement. But I think there's a lot of talking points, but I think it needs to happen. I think it should have happened already.
Yeah, it should have. It should have been pushed for a little bit more.
So many big fights that could have been made. And, Saudi could have thrown their 2 pence in to have the fights on. But then again, there's certain fights where, Like, for example, Katie Taylor and Chantel Cameron. Like, that fight would have held no weight for me in Saudi. That had to be in Ireland. See what I mean?
Yeah. The thing I would say, the big one is the Katie Taylor Serrano 2. Because that's happening now on
Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall in Saudi. That would be, you know,
that would
because
work.
they're talking about they're fighting in MMA supposedly, and then go back to fighting in the boxing ring again in another boxing.
The trilogy in boxing.
I think that them two could fight 10 times over. I think is a big fight. So I think that'd be a good selling point or advertising point, if you want to call it.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up because I think it is an important thing, and also not in a disrespectful way, but you would be a fucking idiot if you didn't try and include women's boxing into Riyadh season, because you're cutting out half your audience in a way.
I genuinely think that listen. Forget women's. I'm a fan of boxing. Yeah. Women's boxing, men's boxing, and I've say it again. Over the years, there are certain fights that I've watched that I have enjoyed more watching the female fights than I have the male fights. If I'm just keeping it honest with you. So I've got a massive respect for women's boxing because of how far it's come. And they're starting to get really cropped to the top level, as they should all deservedly be. There's some great champions, man. I could go on all day talking about it, but man, I'm just glad they'd be stupid if they don't do it. They need to do it. It'd just be interesting to see. You know, there are maybe some that feel for whatever reason their morals wouldn't allow them to box there. Each to their own. See what I'm saying? So there's a lot of conversations that need to be had.
But they have had they had Ramla Ali. I know that she's got some one of her family members, can't remember who, is from the Middle East, or quite a bit of a family are. So I know that there's a little bit of a slight exception made for her, and I know that she was on the AJ Usyk undercard she fought. And she's the first female boxer to fight in the Middle East, and the first, and I think technically still the most recent. So it has happened. It can happen, and we are going to do that. Yeah. I was about to bring that up. I've got Katie Taylor because I will always back Katie Taylor, even though I think Serrano looks a little bit fresher. But
you say fresher, but then Katie Taylor surprises me in every fight. Somehow gets out of it, but it was a close fight. It was a close fight. Very, very close. Could have gone either way, in my opinion. I'm saying
one of those.
Katie Taylor's last couple of fights have been too close for my liking. And her getting older is slightly worrying because I think she's a formidable fighter. I've held her in my high regard as one of my favourite fighters boxing. But, you know, age catches up with you. The wear and tear of obviously boxing for the amount of years she's been doing it for, from amateur to professional. How much more has she got left? We keep asking this every fight. And I just think if she does fight Serrano and wins, she needs to walk into the sunset and leave on a high, man.
Yeah, massively.
Don't leave boxing.
Yeah. Well, she's going to do so much for boxing anyway, outside of it. She doesn't actually need to fight. I want her to, but she doesn't need to. What I would say is that we'll bring this up as well. Katie's been declining in her 2 fights against Chantel Cameron. Yeah, but the second fight, she was brilliant. Let's not forget that. Chantel Cameron's top as well.
I will say one thing about them Cameron fights. So yeah, the head clashes were mad. As in the ref didn't do a good job to stop them. No,
of course not. No.
There was less of the head clashes in the second fight, but then I feel like the ref still, I don't know. Katie Taylor edged the second fight, but the first fight, at certain points, she could have had points deducted for the amount of head clashes. I agree. And if she'd have beaten Katie Taylor in the first fight, we probably wouldn't have seen the second fight. No, sorry. Sorry. Correction.
If Katie Taylor had won,
If Katie Taylor would have won the first fight, I don't think she would have given her the rematch. Sorry, because she won. Katie Taylor lost the first match. Katie Taylor won the second match. Chantel Cameron done well in the first match, considering the head clashes and stuff like that. Sorry, I was getting my things mixed up there. Thinking of the second fight. And then in the second fight, what we should have saw was a trilogy. After the second fight.
The holding in the second fight from Taylor was crazy. True, but Katie Taylor would only get success against Chantel Cameron on the inside. So it's kind of, once you're at a bit of range for Chantel Cameron, Katie Taylor's not going to beat her at range. So she kind of has to come in. I think that's why there's so much holding. But it was crazy. It was really, really good, though. Both fights are great. I still want the third fight, especially now where you've got the sort of Eddie Hearn beef along with Chantel Cameron. Eddie Hearn don't really get on. Katie Taylor, Chantel Cameron, the whole thing is just built up a little bit more now. Katie Taylor, yeah, she really did. To be fair, Katie turned into Vladimir Klitschko in the second fight. Right, we'll leave it there because I think we're going to end up just keep talking about Katie Taylor. But no, go on.
No, go on.
Yeah, we will leave it there. I think that is everything. We could talk about Taylor Serrano, Shields, Riyadh season, everything. We could keep talking about it for years. So we'll leave it for this week. That's been Boxing This Week 12. And as per usual, Paolo, outro time, man.
Guys, subscribe, like, share, subscribe whilst you still can.
Yeah, deep. Take that one to heart. Right. Thank you. Bye.